Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live. With me, your host and international award-winning Make Every Second Count speaker, Jeff Marconette Jr. Now, I am so excited about tonight. We have part of the royal family. Alright, maybe not. But we have Jonathan Royle in the house, and he is going to teach us a little bit about what is positive mind power and how in the world can it change your life? Because it has changed his life. Now, you see, my background is I was in a car wreck when I was 17, and they told me I wouldn't walk again. And I am here to show you that each and every person on social media has issues. Now, whatever those issues might be, they might not be the same as mine, but they have gone through things in their life, and you are not alone. So don't don't forget to give us all kinds of thumbs up, hearts, and comment on this video, tell us your biggest takeaway, and ask as many questions as you want to. But with no further ado, I would like to bring to the stage Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan,
Hi,
how are
Jeff.
you?
I'm good, thanks. And yeah, it's so true what you just said. I would actually just expand slightly further and say that, too many people end up feeling inferior or not feeling good enough or doubting themselves or getting what they call imposter syndrome, that little voice in the head saying, I'm not good enough, because they are too reliant or too believing too easily in what they're seeing other people posting on social media. And they forget that other people are trying to post the best version of themselves. Some of them, and that's the majority. Obviously, there's some people who are just blatantly lying, but generally speaking, most people are just using their airbrush or filters to make themselves look better. They're just posting about the times when something that perceptively wonderful happened in life and just not posting when the daily negatives that we all encounter occur to them. And it becomes so easy for observers to look and go, oh, why is the grass greener everywhere else? Well, it isn't. The
Mhm.
grass can be as green in your world if you choose it to be, as long as you focus on watering the plants, the seeds of thoughts in your mind positively rather than focusing on what is or isn't the illusionary world around you.
Wow, I so agree with you. But if you would like to take it away, and I'm going to have you go through a short introduction about yourself, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do, and more importantly, why you do what you do. And then we will hop into the actual show after that.
All right, Jeff. Yeah, by birth, I make that point clear because by birth I was named by my parents Alex William Smith. Bit ordinary and plain, doesn't sound wonderful when you're being introduced on stage, and I have a show business background. So that's kind of the short reason why I've got a stage name, a business name, and I'm more commonly known in all my books and training programs and self-help products. Everything I do is out there under my business name, Jonathan Royle. Um, my background, I was born on a circus. My parents are a circus family, and I started out performing at the age of three and a bit as Flap the Clown, Britain's youngest paid circus clown. And this rallied on and went all through different areas of performing. But the short version is, because I know we don't have a great amount of time tonight, is that my mum wanted me to have an ordinary, whatever that means. That's why I'm doing that whole speech marks in the air thing, life. So she, rather than traveling around town to town and going to different schools every week, um, she wanted to get a house, settle down. And that's what happened by the time I was about 6.5. And I just then went performing at weekends and in school holidays and stuff. But that's when the problems began, because that's when I started getting bullied for being the odd one out and coming from a circus background. And that led to years of verbal and physical abuse. Bullying is the blanket term, but people go, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And that's, excuse
That's
the language,
wrong.
complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Words can be like weapons, especially when they're repeated and repetition. And it had a negative effect on my mental health. And when I was about 12, it was that transitional period between primary school and what we call secondary school in England. I think you call it high school in the States.
Yeah.
I tried to end it all by lying down in winter time, as we call it, fall, where it gets darker quicker in the day, by lying down in the busiest main road in Haywood where I lived. And I figured it'd all be over and done with pretty quick without being too graphic. And well, spoiler alert, I'm here. It didn't happen. I lay down in the road and I got bored. I seem to be lying there forever. Now, since then, I've learned time is just a construct. You can bump into a friend you've not seen for years, go for a coffee with them or a beer or whatever, and be talking away. And it feels like you've been there, 10, 15 minutes, and you look at your watch and you go, blinking heck, we've been here like an hour and a half. Conversely, if you're working, you can get called in by the boss for a job appraisal and you're nervous thinking, oh, will I get a promotion or will I get sacked? And it feels like you're in there forever. But when you get out, you look at your watch and you've only been in there 10 minutes. So timing is an illusion as well. So I honestly don't know how long I was laid in that road for. All I know is that I got fed up, stood up and started making my way back to the sidewalk. And the moment one of my feet touched the sidewalk, I heard this whoosh and I felt this backdraft, and I turned my head and looked, and there was a massive articulated lorry just whooshed past. Then there were trucks, then there were cars, and it was like and in that moment I shit myself. I realized a couple of seconds earlier I would have been dead, which was the intention at the time. But in that moment I realized, no, that isn't. I wanted a solution, really, not. And at the time, that was the only solution that I thought was left. But in that moment of realizing that I'd escaped it, I thought maybe, and this definitely wasn't religious because I've never been religious and I'm still not. But I thought maybe there is another way, and that's where the journey began. That in finding answers to my own issues. It led me to now. I'm 48 this August, so that was 36 years ago. I'm trying to do the maths in my head. 36 years on from trying to end it all, I spend the majority of my life helping other people overcome their habits, addictions, fears, phobias, and ultimately to feel better about themselves inwardly, and to control that little voice we all have in our head, so that rather than it saying, you're not good enough, it becomes your greatest cheerleader and cheers you along and goes, you know what? You might just have fucked up. You know what? It's not the end of the world. Next time will be better. Or, you know what? Perhaps it could have gone better. But the fact is, you're here, you're alive, there's always tomorrow. Think even negative things, if you can get that little voice in your head to say them a bit differently, it's called reframing, so that you're conditioning yourself to feel better about yourself rather than attacking yourself, which I'm not saying that in any judgmental manner. Believe me, I was one of the worst ever at that for a short period of my life, which it's that if you allow the negative programs to run, it's going to end up causing you to either feel crap about yourself or to manifest it through a habit, an addiction, a fear, a phobia, or just not achieving as much as you could achieve. So that's what I do. I spend my time helping people to discover that's always been within them. It's not like I wave a magic wand. No, I don't. I just help guide people to realize that within them they have way more power and natural ability and resources than perhaps they were aware of, which is something that, I mean, what you said at the top of the show, Jeff, there's people who have been through similar things to you, that when the perceived expert figure, the doctor, medical type people, were to say something like, you're never likely to walk again, or you're never likely to do X, Y, Z, that is, when it's coming from an authority figure, that is a hypnotic suggestion. Because all a hypnotist is a perceived authority figure that people hear something from, a suggestion, a command, and take on board unquestionably. Thank God, and I don't mean that religiously, but thank God that you went, you know what? No. I'm going to prove them all wrong. And you did, and you have. Which is why I said right at the top of the show, you naturally started to take control of that little voice that we all have within us. Otherwise, you wouldn't be where you are now. You'd have probably become the outcome of what those so-called experts were telling you was likely to occur, which you've proven doesn't have to be the case. And the reason for that is that there's a book I'm going to recommend, and it's not even mine, although my book I'll mention later. But there's a book by a guy called Dr. Bruce Lipton called The Biology of Belief. And he is a scientist in the area of epigenetics, which ultimately is that he studied and found the proof that your mind, the way you think, can have a cellular genetic effect on your body. So, people who are told that they will never walk again can end up walking again. People who are told that, they'll never be able to speak again because they've had a stroke. Well, miracles are not really miracles as such. They're only miracles because certain perceived experts say that that shouldn't be possible. Rather than living in a world where people have to pray for miracles, why not encourage people to the fact that there are infinite possibilities? And in fact, the word impossible itself, if you spell it out, starts with I am. And if you put an apostrophe in, it becomes I'm possible. People get told they've got incurable diseases. Now, not all of them, some of them, yeah, obviously can't be cured. But even the ones that generally can't be cured, there are many examples out there around the world of people who live months, years, sometimes decades longer than the so-called expert said was likely to be the case. And the one common factor between the people who seem to live longer is that they get the little voice in their head to keep telling them, you can go on. They believe it's possible to live longer. And if we tie that in with what Dr. Bruce Lipton's studies show, then that belief in itself can cause genuine cellular genetic change and improvement. Although some people, the experts that don't want to turn around and say, well, actually, perhaps I should have said there's possibilities rather than telling you that it couldn't happen, they would sooner label it a miracle, because that way it takes the heat off them for having given people negative, because that's what they are, negative suggestions when you tell somebody that they can't do something. So yeah, that's kind of I haven't even used the word hypnosis much there, but that is essentially what hypnosis is. It's around us in the world, and the key is it's an authority figure giving you a suggestion or a command of something that you, as the person hearing it, if you believe that the authority figure has this authority or expertise or professionalism or qualifications, that you then unquestionably take on board whatever they say. And that's, in some circumstances, can be really positive and good. and reassure people. But in other circumstances, it can be incredibly dangerous because that person is only operating from their own belief system. And if they've never encountered somebody being cured or living longer than a certain time period, in this example, or achieving something or whatever it may be, then they will sincerely believe what they are telling the patient or the client or the student. And the student, the patient, or the client will pick up on that and go, yeah, this sounds tangible, believable. The non-verbal body language they'll pick up on is that the person's telling them the truth. And the thing is, the person saying this to them is more than likely telling them what they believe to be the truth. Well, just because that person believes it to be the truth doesn't mean it has to be the reality for everybody on the planet. If that was the case, we would never have made the advancements in medicine, in science, in anything in the world that we have done, because people wouldn't have pushed the envelope and gone further. They would have just taken the word of what the authority figures at that moment in time kind of believed. Have we lost Jeff? Have we lost Jeff? Well, viewers and listeners, this says that I'm in the show. It says that I'm live. Jeff hasn't reappeared. I hope that Jeff is okay. I'm going to check on my phone. We're getting a message from Jeff. My internet went down on me. Oh. Is it still live? I'm asking if it's still live. It says everyone can hear and see you. Well, okay, look. While I'm waiting for a message from this, I am Jonathan Royle. I have a book out called Shitnosis. Let me hold that in closer to the camera. Helping you get over the shit in your life and get your shit together, incorporating the fuck that system. Fully unconscious conditioning, knowledge, therapy, honoring, absolute transformation system. Shitnosis. Helping you get over the shit in your life and get your shit together by Jonathan Royle. That's Royle. You can also find me on all social media platforms with the handle at Royal Hypnotist. That's ROYLE HYPNOTIST. And my website's magicalguru.co.uk. That's magicalguru.co.uk. It says that I am. In which case, I'm just sending him a message. I will do 5 more minutes and end things. Okay, I'll give you these thoughts. The thoughts are this, a few thoughts. We obviously would normally have got asked stuff, but Jeff's lost the internet. Apologise for that, but please still share this, like this, and whatnot. A few thoughts. You see, because of the bullying and things that built up over the years, I did end up smoking cigarettes, cannabis. I ended up taking cocaine, drinking too much, and gambling, all manner, you name it, hedonism, been there, done it all, got the t-shirts, wore them out. And ultimately it came down to the fact that inwardly, the little voice in my head was telling me I wasn't worthy. I was replaying kind of recordings of what those bullies had said. It had no real basis in reality because of all of us piss and shit the same. We all basically have the same potential. Now, I don't mean that in some new age, happy clappy way of, everyone, if it's capable in the world, then you can do it. Because the fact is, not all of us are capable of winning a gold medal in the Olympics. It isn't possible. Not all of us are going to be top 10 selling authors. Not all of us are going to be, Michelin level chefs. However, even when you take that on board, that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy cooking and make something that's really tasty. It doesn't mean that you can't write a book and tell your story. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go and enjoy sports just because you can't necessarily be the top of everything in the world. Stop competing with other people. Just compete with yourself. The competition should be to be a better version of yourself tomorrow than you are today. And yet there are cliches, things like treat others the way you expect to be treated yourself. But there's also a hell of a lot of truth there. But more importantly, first of all, treat yourself the way you would like others to treat you. So start to educate that little voice inside your head to start saying good things rather than bad. And if it starts making bad suggestions to you or comments, imagine that the voice has become all squeaky and stupid, all deep and daft, but make it so it's different. So you smile at it, you laugh at it, and you start to disregard it when it's talking nonsense to you. But when it's saying positive stuff, turn up the volume and hear that more. When you wake up in the morning, tomorrow morning's the start. You'll wake up with an inner warm glow of confidence, a renewed optimism to life, a more positive attitude to get things done. You just will, especially when you start to condition yourself and use a thing that Emile Coué, French mesmerist and hypnotherapist, coined years ago, a saying of day by day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And you say it to yourself multiple times, 15 to be precise is the optimum amount he found. When you wake up first thing in the morning, what they call the hypnopompic state. Just before you awake, when you're still a bit yawny and you're not fully conscious, you say to yourself, day by day in every way, I'm feeling better and better. Day by day in every way, I'm feeling. And do this as you're cleaning your teeth, going to the toilet. And by the time you wake up, you'll have said it 15 times. And at night time, just before you go to sleep, when you put your head on the pillow, you're starting to yawn. That's called the hypnagogic state. Again, this is when you're not fully conscious. You say it to yourself again. And the reasoning for this is that the critical faculty, analytical area of your mind will finish work for the day or not started work yet if it's in the morning. So those suggestions will meet no resistance and go instantly into your personal laptop computer, your unconscious, your subconscious mind. And they'll go in there and reprogram your computer to believe this positive suggestion, affirmation that day by day in every way you're getting better and better. And you will find by doing this, even a week down the line, you'll notice differences, but a month on, you'll look back and go, wow. And you'll start to notice all those amazing changes in your life in so many ways that you're thinking about it right now, you think that doesn't sound, logical or feasible, but do it. Because if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always got. So the key to having a different life is to do something different. And the more you can program yourself to feel good about yourself, the better. Because once you can feel loved, wanted, needed, appreciated, cared for, cherished, and valued, it will massively increase your self-confidence, your self-image, your self-esteem, and your self-control, aka willpower. And when they increase, it will massively positively impact your self-love, your self-respect, your self-worth, and your positive selfishness, that ability to look after yourself so that you can be good to others as well. And that will finally impact on your sense of self, your self-identity, who you are. It will make you feel whole again. It will make you feel worthwhile. And it'll help you start to see that you can equal the greatest achievements of life's greatest achievers when you learn to believe in yourself. Compare yourself to yesterday's version of yourself, not to other people. Because as we said, not everyone can be the gold medal winning Olympic athlete. But you can still do better than you did yesterday. Everyone's capable of doing that. So there are many tools that can help you. There are audios and online video virtual therapy sessions that in this book, Shitnosis, there are loads of these things, QR codes that you can scan, and they take you to interactive sessions where I teach you the techniques to help you reprogram your personal laptop computer. There's ways to overcome habits, addictions, fears, and phobias. There's ways to overcome panic attacks, anxiety, and depression. Depression is basically living in the past, fearing that negativity of the past could happen again. Anxiety and panic attacks are kind of living in the future that's not happened yet, fearing that some negative from the past could happen again, or that negatives could have. None of that's any good for you. You've got to start learning to live in the here and now. Because yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery. Today's the greatest gift of all. That's why it's called the present. Or a financial metaphor for that is that yesterday's a cancelled check, tomorrow's a promissory note, but today is cash. So spend it wisely, because each of us has got the exact same 1,440 minutes in a 24-hour period, a full day, or 86,400 seconds. If I gave you 86,400 United States dollars and I said that in 24 hours time that was gone forever, so you had to do something positive with it within that 24 hours, I'm sure as hell you would invest it wisely, use it, or if you had to spend it, or you'd use it on experiences to create memories and positivity. With that in mind, why don't we do that with the 86,400 seconds? The 1,440 minutes that each of us have got, because once the time is gone, it's gone. It's simple as that. Start living for today. Unfortunately, we lost Jeff, but thanks for inviting me on here. Please do share this far and wide. Go on Amazon, check this out. Shitnosis, helping you get over the shit in your life and get your shit together by Jonathan Royle. You find me on all social media channels at Royle Hypnotist. That's at ROYLE. HYPNOTIST, and on my website magicalguru.co.uk. That's MAGICALGURU.co.uk. Partway down the page on that's my life story that hopefully will prove inspirational to you if you're going to have a look and check it out. How I went from a life of bullying and attempted suicide to overcoming my addictions, habits, and fears, and actually then helping tens of thousands of people myself, but potentially also impacting the lives of hundreds of thousands, because I also teach other therapists how to help people like you to start to believe in you. You are capable of so much more than perhaps you realize. And to be able to press that factory reset button metaphorically on your personal laptop computer, it's all detailed in Shitnosis. Do us a favor. I know we've had technical issues, but please share this far and wide. Click like, make comments. Believe in yourself. Your bright future starts right now when you let go of the past. If I give you a red hot piece of coal, leave you with this thought. And that coal represents all the fears, frustrations, failures, anger, anguish, anxiety, resentment, regret, and remorse. Self-blame, shame, guilt, and regret you're carrying around from past failures or perceived failures in the past of your life. If it was a red hot piece of coal and I gave it you wouldn't keep hold of it, would you? You wouldn't keep walking around with it. You'd let go of it, otherwise you'd burn yourself, and it'd get worse, and it'd burn you more, and it'd cause more pain. So if you throw away that coal, why don't you go, today's enough? Now's the time to draw a line under things. Stop living in the past. Stop letting us self-blame, shame, guilt, regret, failures, fears, angers, resentment, regret, remorse of the past bothering you. Let go of it. Mentally say to yourself, I let go. Say it to yourself multiple times as you go to sleep at night and in the morning. And notice that it's like a huge weight being lifted off your shoulders. And you start to feel lighter and brighter, more positive and optimistic for the future as we hit 29 minutes and 58 seconds. Half an hour's up. I guess there's probably normally a play out. There won't be, I'm afraid, because we lost Jeff. But thanks for having me on, Jeff. Hopefully this will prove inspirational to some people, as I'm sure this book will. 17 United States dollars. It's a book that can and will change your life when you take action on the contents. My name's Jonathan Royle. Thank you all. Please share this far and wide. Bye for now.